I'm Chris Coy, founding principal of Barnes Coy Architects. Barnes Coy Architects is a small design studio of 10 architects. We've been here in Bridgehampton for 32 years, working in a very collaborative process with our clients. We work to integrate our designs with the unique landscape and sites that we see out here in the Hamptons. The Hamptons is a very unique area geologically and geographically, and specifically here in Wainscott, a very small little, not even a village, it's a hamlet. It's a location that's unique to itself, and there are only 7 oceanfront properties in the hamlet of Wainscott. So for example, here on this site, we have a very long piece of property. It's about 275 feet east to west, which is unusual. So here the idea was to create a long, thin house that's transparent on both sides, that maximizes the view of the ocean from almost every room. People engage us because they want to see the view, they want to entertain, they want the house to work easily for themselves. So for example, here the house faces the ocean, and we have a very narrow property north to south. When I sat down with the survey, I just said, well, how far can I go? And I traced a line that actually is more or less the shape of the coastal erosion hazard line. And that became the shape of the pool, and then of course that generated the shape of the house, and then the forms of the house began to arrange themselves. So here we have a main gathering space, which is about entertainment and living, and that's why the kitchen is part of it. And we think kitchens are beautiful, and they should not be hidden. They should be part of the life of the house, and they should be part of the main space of the house. That's what we have here, and the space flows out to the terrace and the pool and the barbecue. That became an outdoor kitchen. So we have a stainless steel outdoor kitchen that has everything an indoor kitchen has. When we're on the ocean or on any body of water, we try to nestle into the dunes, we try to nestle into the natural contours of the property. So for example, here, you walk out here and you're right on the ocean. The front door, however, is one level down because that's the level on which you drive in. So we enter on the low side and then we come up to the main level of the house. And that provides for another thing that we like to do. We like to keep the reveal of the view. Most of our houses have a spectacular view, but we don't want to walk in the front door and get it right away, like you open the door, bang, there's the view. Well, then it's over. So we like to have a processional entry where there's a little bit of a process. You open the door, you have to go somewhere, either you go around a corner or you, in this case, you go up a flight of steps, and then you see the view, then the view is revealed. And we find that it vignettes the view, it makes the view more important. Its connectivity to the ocean is enhanced by the fact that we have a low dune. In many properties on the ocean out here, and even on the bay, the dune is high, and to get over the dune, you have to build a high house, because the dunescape as a foreground is very important to seeing the ocean. So it's really nice to see the green landscaping first, then that segues into beach grass, which you expect to see on the dune, and then the sand, and then the ocean and the breaking waves. So that's kind of, you know, the connectivity here is visual at first, and then it's also very real because you walk down onto the land and there's a very subtle path that's on the dune and brings you right out onto the sand. There's a constant invitation to walk down those stairs at either end of the pool and get out onto the beach. Our first objective is to achieve visual simplicity. To achieve this, you've got to be very careful about what the materials are, how they intersect with each other, and what those intersections are. Those are design details that we agonize over. Of course, the glass, there's always the glass. The view is ever present, and there's always full height doors. They go from the floor to the ceiling. There's no header above the door, because our concept of a door is, if it's open, it's a passage. If it's closed, it's part of the wall. So that's one thing we like to express. And then coming into the more, what we like to call public spaces, the entertainment spaces, the hangout spaces, the living spaces. There we get a little more playful with the materials, and we bring in color. Because the kitchen is part of the main space, we have this book-matched marble, which is black and white, but being book-matched, it looks like a painting. So it's definitely decorative, but it's also practical because it forms the backsplash that goes from the counter to the ceiling. The huge chimney wall, which is a visual anchor and also a literal anchor to the house, that is Westchester granite, which is, now when you first look at it, you could say, oh, well, that's all gray, but it's not really. It has a tremendous variation in color, and we chose the colors very carefully so that when it's all put together, it looks like kind of a woven Scottish sweater. It looks like wool. It's because the colors are so subtly varied, but they are there. Those are kind of the interior materials, and then the exterior has to survive the elements, which on the ocean here it can be severe. So it's this proprietary stucco that we design, and then the glass systems that we design. And we have a lot of the Westchester granite on the exterior too, the whole facing of the pool, for example, Westchester granite, because nothing ever happens to that. One thing I should point out is the inverted pitched roof. That began as a way to provide the height that we wanted for the main curtain wall that faces the ocean, while working with an obscure zoning characteristic of East Hampton Town, which is they give you more height allowance if you have a pitched roof. Now they think that pitched roofs always pitch down toward the exterior of the house. Well, if we did that, this wall would only be about 12 feet tall. We wanted 22 feet. So what we did was we inverted the pitch so that the end of the pitch is actually higher than the peak of the roof. And that's how we get along that edge. We get that height of 22 feet for the whole length of this room. So the pool began with this shape on the ocean side of the pool, following the coastal erosion hazard line. And one detail that we like as architects is, most pools you'll see the water level is about 5 or 6 inches below the deck level. But we like the pool surface to be a continuation of the deck surface visually. We like the pool water to be dead flush with the surface of the pool. Now there's a way to do that. It's called a Lautner edge, and that's named after John Lautner, who was a very good architect from California. We do a Lautner edge, which involves creating a plenum at the edge where there's a 1-inch gap between the deck and the water flows down and over, so that when you look out at the pool, you're seeing this surface of water. It looks like you can almost walk on it. You know, we have this history here. East Hampton was founded about 400 years ago in 1640. And there are still, I think there are 3 or 4 original structures from that first colony still there, 400 years later, because they were built with the knowledge that you have to work with the environment and you can't work against it. So the materials we use are designed to withstand this environment, but when they have to, they work with it. So, but as far as longevity of the houses, they will last for generations of the family, and that's another thing of our practice. We like to think that people will keep these houses for generations. So that's what we hope, you know, is going to happen here and in every house we do.